darkness, I think. Game speed. Ooh. We'll jump out, close that. And while the tractors in 19 do have DEF tanks and record it, you have to run with a mod to enable that functionality to work, which is a bit of a shame. Now it does look like that they're implementing that logic into 22. So newer tractors, well, bigger newer tractors, I think. Smaller engine vehicles, this one has DEF, but I think if you drop under 100 horsepower you're getting to the point where diesel engines don't need the diesel exhaust fluid. So, and then obviously older vehicles guessing around 2010 also won't have DEF as a requirement. But they're also implementing gearboxes, power shift, continuously variable transmission, CVT. But you will have, yeah, obviously you'll be selecting forward and reverse at a minimum on some of the tractors. And I play with that because it makes driving more natural, where you've got an accelerator and a brake rather than a go forward, go backwards functionality. That bit really annoys me about 17 and 19. So having enhanced driving mods which introduce at the very minimum a drive and reverse functionality, if not a full gearbox, that's so much more helpful. Obviously they're introducing seasons. Precision farming will be a spring release, as far as I gather, and will be more expensive than the current one. What else do I play with that's really useful? I think, yeah, obviously GPS is very, very useful. I use it not as much. I was 17, I used to use it almost all the time. 19, it took me a while to get into it, but for the most part, because you now pay for it on a vehicle, I don't necessarily install it on all my tractors because it's a cost. So I select the tractors I'm putting it on. So typically my spraying tractor, which is this one, so that's quite an expense, additional expense on this tractor. If you think, you know, I'm paying what, 100,000 for this tractor, and I'm adding 25% to its cost to have GPS on it, installed on it. But the bigger tractors where it's 300,000, an extra 25 is sort of, yeah, okay, I can do that. But my mid-size tractors, the what do we have these days? The JCB and the Case. I don't have GPS on those. They don't need it because they're primarily used as karting tractors or part of the mowing team where we're wrapping or we're collecting or we're baling, and don't need GPS for that because you're looking at where the bales are, or you're looking at where the grass windrow is, and obviously you're not GPS isn't going to help you follow the windrow unless you used GPS on the mower to create the windrow. Plus for the baling I usually use follow me instead. Supposedly we're getting the AI improvements on helpers workers, whatever they want to call them, which may or may not be a thing, obviously. I think they said they were improving the AI from 17 to 19. I don't know if it was specifically noticeable that the AI was smarter. I mean, it may have been, but it was almost negligible from an observable point of view. I'm sure if I went back to 17 and compared, I could spot some differences. And with precision farming, we got the little hut with the what's it called? I forget what it's called, but there's a couple of placeables that improve how workers work, and the way they improve how they work is they don't overlap as much. So, over the course of 20 passes with a harvester, the helper may only do 19 or 18 if you have that placeable on the map, which means 5% fewer passes is 5% quicker to get the job done, which makes it cheaper because you're obviously paying for the worker by the hour. So there's that. Okay. I wonder what's in this field. Because the only thing we appear to be cultivating at the moment are weeds. So this is a good income. As I said, we've got no, we could do a baling, or we could have done a baling contract. I think we still have time. The bales at the BGA won't be available for sale until probably tomorrow, and there's not even a dozen, I don't think. But there's a little extra income. It's a little bit more digestate in the tanks at the BGA. I just don't know when we're next going to need digestate on any of our fields. Possibly the spelt field, not the spelt, the barley, because we're doing a mid-year replant there. But, most of our harvest won't be done till later in the year. And I'm trying to use digestate to boost the nitrogen content when I'm planting immediately, so winter crops. And I'm using oilseed radish for spring crops. So where I'm planting sunflowers, we put oilseed radish in because there's enough time for it to grow and do its work. But where I'm planting winter barley or canola or wheat or spelt, that's digestate on the field and then just plant it. And this year, we've had issues. We haven't had the amount of digest I would like to have had, so we couldn't do all of our fields. And that's probably always going to be a thing with this farm. We're just not able to produce the silage that we need to create the fertilizer. But the fertilizer helps. I mean, it does defray our liquid and solid fertilizer costs. So there's that advantage. But sometimes we just have to go out on a field which has had no nitrogen improvements and just use the expensive stuff. Oops, and like I was saying, fences and walls do get in the way. I think I might need to lift that. There we go. I forgot that you can adjust the boom height very briefly. Oh, come on. And also, yeah, you can't, it's not easy to control the nitrogen application with a slurry tank. You know, it's either on or off. It doesn't spread where you've already applied it on this pass. But even so, that's it's a set amount that of nitrogen you're applying. So it's not like with this. If I put this on automatic, it will apply exactly what is needed for the crop in the ground. So you have to have planted something. But, like we've said, this costs money. I mean, we're almost 1,900 per tank. So it's not exactly cheap, but even so, it does what we need it to do. So that's good. I am kind of hoping that FarmSim 22 Precision Farming will introduce precision farming to the contractors as well, or to the contracts, so that we're not having to, you know, I could buy this field and the amount of fertilizer that I've put on it so far would count, as opposed to it being, I don't know, random. Over fertilized because I fertilized it 3 times and it's a low nitrogen crop, so it doesn't need more than 80 kilos per hectare, or yeah, that sort of crazy stuff. That's why I'm a little bit reticent about buying fields that already have crop in them, because we don't know the precision farming status of the soil. And at least if I buy a field that's not fertilized, I can be pretty sure it's going to be crap. But I can run out there with this unit and just spray the crop and it'll be ideal nitrogen levels at that point. Let's go back to cruise, and that's not the field I want. 78% done. Okay. We're getting there slowly. Oh, that works out quite nicely, I think. Finish up that edge, turn it off. And we can fill in the bit we missed earlier. There now. Turn around. I think I might just follow the grain of the planter that did this. So going to miss a little bit on the right hand edge, but that should not be important for job completion. So 82. And we're going to go back to the store, and well, am I going to go back to the store and top off the tank? No. I think as soon as we've done 42, we'll do, what, 39 was it? Whatever it was, the field just to our south with what we have left, and then we can go and get one more tank and use the dregs in the tanks we had left over. Again, what does it look like? It's a hazy morning. Kind of how my backyard looks some days this week. The dew misting off the grass. And yeah, this map, yep. The ground is still counting as wet, or the crops are still counting as wet. And it's afternoon already, so even if we had anything left to harvest, we're completely out of luck. That's not going to happen today, and it hasn't rained in a few days that I remember. Maybe overnight, yesterday game day, it rained. The ground is still wet, so if we had crops at this point, we'd be in a mess. That would be something we're not collecting this year. So that's kind of a worry for the maize that I'm planning to plant in those barley fields, but we'll have got income from the we won't have got income from the barley because barley doesn't sell at the best price until winter, but we will have barley in the silos ready to sell when the price is good. So we've got income from those fields for the year, so anything else I can get out of the field is bonus, and since bonus is actually going to be sheep food, that's not income for the year. And I'm not sure if you can forage damp crops, but you don't have to wait till they're fully mature. You can harvest them green, so maybe we just go with that at the end of next year. But the maize will be the last thing we're harvesting, and we are done. Fold that up, press the brake, get paid. And field 41. So that's the next one, and that's the field just to our south. With the light green stuff in it. Real time coming up on 11 o'clock, so 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll definitely be dark by the time we finish today. Oh, you can't raise the boom until it's unfolded. There we go. So that's raised enough that we're not messing with the crops. So I believe this is miscanthus, which is a spring harvest. And we might delay buying fields until the miscanthus is harvested and then buy some of the miscanthus fields. A lot of the fields here are miscanthus. I'm thinking about it, it might be a solution to our late fall harvesting. Obviously this time of year not a good time to harvest because of the dampness of the crop, but since miscanthus is a spring harvest, maybe that's a way to offset. I don't want to be planting spring cereals because they're coming in way too late, and we could potentially lose them. At least planting winter crops, they're going to be good as an early harvest in summer when it's still warm and dry. Be careful here because I think this is the edge of the map, so potentially the edge of the map is not that hedge low row. Probably why one big complaint about this map is how close the edge of the map is to the edge of the field. Normally I like, if a map edge is on a hedge or a wall, then yeah, that's good because I don't expect to be able to drive through a hedge or a wall. But if it's inside of that boundary, then it's sort of, immersion braking because I just crashed into an invisible barrier in the middle of a field. Okay. We are out of fertilizer, so we'll fill the tank up, grab what was left in the 2 IBCs that are at the store, and finish this field off. I might, once this field is done, get another IBC of liquid fertilizer so that we have some to take back to the farm. Oh, I was going to consider herbicide. I think herbicide I'll do first thing in spring. Because at that point we'll know our crops are growing. There will be a movement in their growth stage. We might need to use the GPS in order to get a good coverage. And for future reference, if you're running precision farming, then what you really want to do is to make sure that you spread herbicide before you fertilize, because you'll be able to see the herbicide spread. Close enough. Oops. There we go. You'll see the herbicide spread, and then you can use the mini-map to determine the fertilizer spread. Without precision farming, I'm pretty sure you're looking at just one fertilizer or herbicide application per growth stage. We are full. So there is a little bit left in that tank. I guess depending on how much is left in that tank, if we've got enough room, we can carry 2,900. So if we've only got 900 litres of fertiliser left in the sprayer at the end of this job, we'll buy another tank and take it with us after we've used that. So maybe we won't. But then all the rest of the fertiliser contracts are on the way back to our yard. So probably not going to do any more. So there was a thing we wanted to do with the sheep. The clover hay. Was it clover hay or clover silage? I can't remember. There was something the sheep needed. I think it might have been the clover silage, and the reason I've got with that, or the thing I've got with that, is if you've only got a partial bale and you walk away from it, it will disappear. So you lose what you made. So most of the time I'm not going 100% on both food troughs for clover silage. With the hay, not a problem. Okay, somewhere around about here would be a good point. And I we made it through the tree. Okay, we'll raise that up so there's enough room for the crop underneath us, and we'll go. We'll zoom out. So, a couple more laps on this field and we will be done. Maybe more than a few. I think what we'll try and do, well, obviously we'll get this second headland done around the south side of the field, and then I'll need to do 2 along the north side, which should leave us on the west end of the field that we can start doing up and down rows and finish closer to the gate. That's at least the plan. We do, the problem, yes, I will admit, we do a lot of fertilisation contracts, but they are relatively quick. And we're up to 45. We've done 3 today. Well, 3 contracts today. One of them was planting the grass. I could have done the baling contract, but really, we did that a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of streams ago. We just did a baling contract and it took ages. And most of the ages is the baling and the transport. It's just, it takes so long to, is the wrapping. Yeah. Cutting and baling doesn't take long at all, but wrapping the bales is just a pain. I really wish the extractor worked on clover. I mean, it's not exactly quick. It's as fast as you can load bales with a front loader, but still, that's, you're constantly doing something opposed to just sitting there waiting for the wrapper to wrap. The wrapping process is really, really quick. It's how long it takes